The music was too loud, the lights too bright, and Lena Parker had promised herself she would not kiss anyone that night. That promise lasted less than an hour. The club in downtown Manhattan was packed. People danced with plastic cups in their hands, the bass shaking the floor. Lena and her best friend Rachel stood near the edge of the dance floor, half dancing, half laughing. "You need to relax," Rachel shouted over the music. "You've been single for too long. I am not kissing a stranger just because you're bored with my love life," Lena yelled back. "I didn't say boring, I said dry." Lena laughed and turned toward the crowd again, letting herself move a little to the beat. She had come to forget job applications, bills, and the ex who had left her broken and in debt. Just one night to feel normal again. Then she saw him. He was leaning against the bar, tall and solid in a black shirt with the sleeves rolled up. Dark hair, trimmed beard, strong jaw, forearms that did not look like they came from an office job. He was talking to another man, but his eyes kept scanning the room. When his gaze found hers, it stayed. For a second, everything else faded a bit. Dark brown eyes, focused and intense, locked on her. He didn't smile, but he didn't look away either. Lena broke eye contact first, pretending to fix the strap of her dress. "Okay, that one is dangerous," Rachel said, following her gaze. "If you don't walk over there, I swear I will push you." "I was just looking," Lena said. Her heart was beating faster than it should. The DJ changed the song, the beat dropped lower, and the crowd moved as one. People pushed closer toward the bar. Someone bumped into Lena from behind and her drink almost flew out of her hand. She stumbled. A strong hand caught her wrist. She looked up. He was right in front of her now. Up close, he looked even more intense. His cologne was warm and clean, his shirt unbuttoned just enough to show a line of chest. His grip on her wrist was firm, his eyes sharper from this distance. "You okay?" he asked, his deep voice cutting through the noise like it belonged above it. "Yeah," she said, cheeks hot. "Some people should not be allowed to walk in crowded spaces." "That would empty the whole club," he said. A small smile touched his mouth. He didn't let go of her wrist right away. His fingers slid down, wrapping around her hand instead. "You looked like you were going to fall," he added. "It would be a shame. You'd ruin the dress." She glanced down at her short black dress, then back at him. "I like this dress too much to break my neck in it." "If you fell," he said, leaning a bit closer, "you would have landed on me first." "That sounds like you're offering yourself as a safety net." "Maybe I am." Her stomach flipped. He wasn't trying any cheesy lines, but every word landed strong. "Do you always save strangers?" she asked. "Only the ones who have been staring at me for 10 minutes, he answered. She opened her mouth. "I wasn't..." He lifted an eyebrow. "Okay, maybe I was," she admitted, laughing. "But you were staring too." He didn't deny it. The song changed again. The beat turned heavier, the lights strobed red and blue. The crowd squeezed closer, and suddenly there wasn't much space between their bodies. "Do you dance?" he asked. "I try. No promises," she said. "Good. I'm not interested in perfect." He moved her gently toward the center of the floor, still holding her hand. His other hand slid to her waist, resting there. Not pushy, not rude. Just there, warm. Her heart hammered in her chest. They started moving together. At first she stepped wrong, then laughed and tried again. "You're fine," he said, eyes on her. "Just follow me." She did. They fell into the rhythm. The music pounded around them, but her focus narrowed to his hands, his body, his face. Her arms went around his shoulders. His fingers pressed lightly into her lower back. His breath brushed her cheek. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lena," she said. He repeated it slowly, like he was tasting the sound. "Lena." "And you?" she asked. He paused, just a fraction. "Alex." There was something in that tiny pause, but she let it go. "Nice to meet you, Alex." His eyes dropped to her lips. "Yeah, nice." The song hit the chorus, and their bodies pressed closer. Her chest brushed his. His thigh brushed hers with every step. Her head spun a little. "Can I kiss you?" he asked, voice rougher. She could have said no. She could have remembered every warning, every mistake from her last relationship, every promise to be careful. But right then, with his hand on her waist and his eyes on her mouth, she didn't want to be careful. She nodded. He didn't hesitate. His mouth came down on hers in a hot, sure kiss that wiped every thought out of her head. His hand slid up to cup the side of her neck, thumb under her jaw, holding her in place. She parted her lips, and he deepened the kiss, tasting her, pulling her closer. She heard herself make a quiet sound against his mouth. He pressed closer, his chest solid, his body warm. She tasted whiskey on his tongue and felt the light burn of his beard on her skin. For a moment, there was no club, no bills, no job hunt, just his lips and his hands, and the way her body answered without hesitation. When they finally broke apart, both of them were breathing hard. "That was," she started, then laughed softly. "Wow. Yeah," he said, forehead leaning lightly against hers for a second. They stood there, bodies still swaying a little out of habit. Then the world returned. The crowd, the lights, the smell of sweat and perfume, Rachel screaming somewhere in victory. Lena took a small step back. "So, Alex, do you kiss every girl who almost falls on you?" "No," he said. "Just the ones who stare?" She pushed. "Just the ones who taste like trouble," he replied. Before she could ask what that meant, another man in a dark suit approached him and leaned in to speak in his ear. The man looked serious, out of place in that noisy club. Alex's jaw tightened. He nodded once, then turned back to her. "I have to go," he said. "I wasn't planning to stay long." "Oh." The disappointment surprised her. He looked at her like he was deciding something. "Give me your number," he said. Bold, she teased, but she was already reaching for it. "You first." He pulled out his phone and handed it to her. She typed her number, saved it, and gave it back. Their fingers brushed again, sending another little shock through her. "I'll call you," he said. "You better," she replied, forcing a smile. He held her gaze for one last second, then turned and walked away, the man in the suit following. They disappeared toward the back of the club. Rachel appeared at her side like magic. "Oh my God," Rachel shouted. "You kissed him. That was like a movie kiss. Who is he? What did he say? What did he taste like?" "Whiskey and trouble," Lena said, still dizzy. "If he doesn't call you," Rachel said, "I'm going to hunt him down myself." "It was just a kiss," Lena said. She tried to believe it. The next morning, "just a kiss" was still in her head. Lena stood in front of the small mirror in her apartment, smoothing the front of her white blouse for the third time. Her hair was in a low ponytail. Her navy pencil skirt hugged her curves just right, and her black heels made her feel taller and a little braver. Her younger sister, Mia, leaned in the doorway, eating toast. "You look like a woman who is about to get hired." "I look like a woman who did not sleep because she kept replaying last night and this interview," Lena said. "Last night with a beard?" Mia asked. Lena gave her a look. "I told you that in confidence." "We live in a one-bedroom. There is no confidence," Mia said, grinning. Lena sighed, then smiled. "This job could fix my life. The salary, the health insurance. I could finally stop checking my bank balance 3 times a day." "You will get it," Mia said. "You're good with people. You're good with chaos, and you survived dating Eric. After that, any boss is easy." "That's not the bar I was hoping for," Lena muttered. But the joke calmed her a little. The company was called Conti Security and Holdings. Online, it looked cold and vague. Private security, logistics, asset protection, investments. Important people, lots of power, lots of secrets. She checked the time, grabbed her bag, and hugged Mia. "Wish me luck," Lena said. "Good luck," Mia replied, squeezing her tight. "And if your new boss is hot, send me a picture." "I am not sending you pictures of my boss. That's how scandals start," Lena said, already heading out the door. The building was all glass and metal, rising over Midtown like it owned the block. Inside, The lobby was bright and quiet, full of people who walked like they knew exactly where they were going. Lena checked in, got a visitor's badge, and took the elevator to the top floor. Her heart pounded harder with every floor the elevator passed. She tried not to think about Alex. She tried not to connect the word security with the way he had spoken on the phone last night before walking away. This is about the job, she told herself, not the kiss. The elevator doors opened. This floor was different. Dark wood, soft carpet, expensive art. A wide glass door at the end of the hallway read, Alex Conti, Chief Executive Officer. Her stomach flipped. A woman in a fitted gray dress approached, holding a tablet. "You must be Lena Parker," she said. "I'm Victoria Hayes, HR Director." "Yes," Lena said, forcing a professional smile. "Nice to meet you." "Come sit," Victoria said, waving toward a set of leather chairs. "We already reviewed your resume and your tests. You did very well. Today is mostly about chemistry. Mr. Conti likes to meet his assistants personally." "Of course," Lena said, sitting and pressing her knees together so she wouldn't start shaking her leg. "He's demanding," Victoria added. "But fair." That did not calm Lena at all. A light blinked on Victoria's phone. She answered, listened, then looked at Lena again. "He's ready for you. Second door on the right. Just knock and go in." Lena stood up, wiped her palms on her skirt, and tried to breathe. Second door on the right. She walked down the hallway. At the door, she saw his name again. Alex Conti. She knocked. "Come in," a man's voice called. It was slightly muffled by the door, but it shot straight through her. She opened it. The office was large, with a wall of glass showing the city, a big dark desk, shelves with books and files. A tall man stood behind the desk with his back to her, one hand in his pocket, the other holding a phone to his ear. "No," he said, voice firm. "I said tomorrow night. If they can't handle it, we'll find someone who can. I don't repeat myself." She knew that voice. Her heart stopped for a second. He ended the call with a short, "Fix it," and set the phone down. Then he turned. Their eyes met. Her stomach dropped. It was him, the man from the club, the stranger she had kissed on the dance floor, the one who had said, "I'll call you," and then vanished. He froze too. "Lena," he said, like he wasn't sure she was real. "You," she blurted out. All the polished, professional sentences she had prepared vanished. "You're..." He glanced at the folder on his desk, then back at her. "My assistant candidate." Her brain tried to process everything at once. New job, new life. Stranger from the club. Stranger is the boss. Boss is the stranger. Her legs chose that exact moment to forget how to walk. Her heel caught on the edge of the rug. Her bag slipped off her shoulder and hit the floor. Pens, a notebook, her phone, and a lipstick rolled out in all directions. "Perfect," she muttered, dropping to her knees. "Great timing." She crawled to grab the lipstick just as he came around the desk. They both reached for it at the same time and their fingers brushed. Both of them pulled back fast. They stared at each other over the small mess on the floor. "It's really you," she said. "I was thinking the same thing," he replied. Her heart was beating so hard she could hear it in her ears. She forced herself to stand, clutching her bag like a shield. "I'm sorry." "Good morning, Mr. Conti." His jaw worked at the title. "Mr. Conti," he repeated quietly. "That is your name," she said too fast. "This is an office. This is a job interview. I am very professional, I swear, and I'm going to stop talking now." For a second she thought he might laugh. His mouth almost curved, then he swallowed it down. He straightened, shoulders broad, eyes dark and focused on her. "Close the door, Miss Parker," he said, his voice lower now. "We need to talk about last night, and about this job." Her hand closed around the handle. The door clicked softly shut. She stood there, caught between fear and excitement, as he walked back behind his desk. He opened her resume, glanced at it, then lifted his eyes to her again. "You shouldn't be here," he said. Her stomach sank. "Because of the club?" "Because I don't mix my personal life with my office," he said. "Ever." "Oh," she said quietly. Then I can leave." "No," he said. She blinked. "No?" He studied her face for a long moment, like he was weighing something important. "You impressed Victoria. You scored high on the tests. You handled last night better than most people handle a normal conversation," he said. "And you walked in here after seeing my name on that door instead of running." She swallowed. "I need this job." "I know," he said. He closed the folder. "You're hired," Alex Conti said. "But from this moment on, I am your boss. And whatever happened on that dance floor stays there. Understood?" Her chest squeezed. "Yes, Mr. Conti." His eyes flicked to her mouth for a second before he looked back at his computer. "We'll see how well we both follow that rule," he said. Lena wasn't sure if he meant her, himself, or both of them. All she knew was that her life had just changed, and that the most dangerous man she had ever kissed was now sitting behind a desk, signing her contract. "Victoria will come get you when we're done," he had said. But Lena was sure nothing about this conversation belonged in an HR manual. Alex motioned to the chair. "Sit." She sat, forcing her knees to stay still, trying to look calm while her heart still raced from the shock. "So," he said, "last night you were wearing a black dress in a crowded club. Today you're in my office interviewing to be my assistant." "New York is a small city, apparently," she answered. "One of us has terrible luck," he replied. "That sounds almost accusatory." "Sorry, not very professional." He watched her for a beat, then exhaled. "I don't usually kiss the people I'm about to interview," he said. "Good," she replied. "I don't usually kiss potential bosses." His mouth twitched in a quick, quiet laugh. It relaxed something in her chest. "Did you know who I was last night?" he asked. "My name? What I do?" "No," she said. "Just Alex. If I'd known you were going to be my possible employer, I would have stayed near the wall pretending I can dance." He studied her face for any hint of a lie. She held his gaze. "Fine," he said at last. "Then we have two options. We end this interview now and pretend last night was just a good memory. You walk out, we never work together, and we avoid problems." Her stomach dropped. "Or," he continued, "we act like two adults. We agree that what happened at the club is separate from this job, and we continue this as a normal interview." "Which option do you want?" she asked. He looked almost annoyed by the question. "I need an assistant. Victoria likes your resume." "I don't like surprises. You are a surprise." "I need this job," she said softly. "I'm not here because of last night. I'm here because I can do this. I can handle calls, calendars, pressure. I won't fall apart." "Why did you leave your last position?" he asked, switching into interview mode. She adjusted quickly. "They downsized. My department was cut. I stayed until the last day and trained the team that took over our tasks." They went through her work history: office manager, admin assistant. He asked about organizing chaos, difficult people, deadlines. "How do you handle stress?" he asked. "I don't take things personal in the moment," she said. "Task first, feelings later." "Good. People raise their voices around here." "I noticed," she replied, remembering his call. "And confidentiality," he went on. "You'll see names, locations, schedules, things you cannot repeat, ever." "I understand," she said. "I've signed NDAs before." "This is heavier," he said. "Some things won't make sense. You won't have the full picture. Can you handle that without asking a question every 5 minutes?" "I don't need every detail," she said. "I need clear instructions. If something feels wrong, I'll say it. But I won't play detective all day." He watched her carefully. "Why do you want to work here?" he asked. "Because I need the money. Because I haven't felt this alive in months. Because I'm good at this," she answered. "I like making things work. I like being the person who knows where everything is, who everyone calls first, and I want to be challenged." He gave a small, reluctant smile. "You'll be challenged here." Silence settled between them again, heavy but not empty. "Last question," he said. "About last night." Her pulse kicked up. "Okay. Did that kiss make you uncomfortable?" he asked. "Be honest." "No," she said. It didn't. You're sure? Yes. He lowered his eyes for a moment, then lifted them again. It didn't make me uncomfortable either. Heat rose up her neck. But in this office, he said, voice turning firm, things are different. I don't mix business with anything else. If you work here, you are my assistant, not the girl from the club, at least not during office hours. He seemed to regret the last line as soon as he said it. I can handle that, she said. I know how to separate things. He studied her a second longer, then straightened and walked to the window. When he turned back, his face was all business. You're hired, he said. Her breath rushed out. I am? Yes. You start tomorrow. Victoria will give you the paperwork. Your desk is outside this office. You'll manage my calendar, calls, travel, visitors. You'll be the first filter. Thank you, Mr. Conti, she said. His eyes flicked to her mouth. Alex, he corrected quietly. You can use my first name when we're alone. Her pulse jumped. All right, Alex. A knock sounded on the door. Come in, he called. Victoria stepped in. Do you need more time, Mr. Conti? No, Miss Parker has accepted the position. Please prepare the documents. Congratulations, Victoria told Lena. I told you he was demanding, not impossible. As Lena followed Victoria out, she could feel Alex's eyes on her back. She didn't look, but she felt it anyway. The next morning, Lena woke up before her alarm. She put on a fitted dark green dress, a blazer, and low heels. She checked her bag twice to make sure nothing could fall out this time. On the way to the subway, she bought coffee and a muffin, then realized her stomach was too tight to eat. She threw the muffin in her bag anyway. The lobby guard now greeted her by name and gave her an employee badge. She noticed more men in discreet suits near the elevators, watching everything without staring at anyone. Security, she told herself. Big company. On the top floor, Victoria was waiting with a pile of forms. Welcome to the circus, she said. Come see your desk. Lena's desk sat right outside Alex's office. Computer, 2 monitors, a phone full of buttons, and a small glass vase with white flowers. I ordered those, Victoria said, to soften the boss of the universe atmosphere. It works, Lena said, smiling. They went through systems and rules. How to use the internal tools, how to label calls, who to put through immediately. You are the first filter, Victoria said. If someone wants Mr. Conti, they go through you unless they have his direct number. Okay. Most clients are normal. Victoria lowered her voice a bit. Some are more sensitive. If someone uses the word urgent too much, send it straight to Alex or to Ethan Blake. Who's Ethan? Lena asked. You'll see, Victoria said. He is Alex's right hand. He looks angry even when he's not. Try not to take it personal. The elevator dinged. A man walked out. Tall, lean, dark suit, no tie, alert eyes. His walk was controlled, his attention sharp. Speak of the devil, Victoria murmured. Then, louder. Ethan, this is Lena Parker, Mr. Conti's new assistant. Ethan gave Lena a long look. You sure? He asked Victoria, like Lena wasn't there. Lena lifted her chin. I'm very good at my job. His mouth moved just enough to suggest a small smile. We'll see. Good luck, Parker. You'll need it. He knocked once on Alex's door and went in. That was him being friendly, Victoria said. Good, Lena replied. I'd hate to meet him on a bad day. The morning passed with passwords, system logins, and names. She took her first calls, transferred a few, wrote down messages, and tried to remember who was who. Around 10:30, her internal line lit up. Office, hey Conti. Alex Conti's office, this is Lena. She answered. Come in, his voice said. Bring your notebook. Her pulse picked up again. She knocked and stepped into his office. He was behind his desk, sleeves rolled up, focused on a file. His expression was serious, but when he saw her, something in his eyes softened for a heartbeat. How's your first day? He asked. So far, no one has yelled at me, she said. I'm not sure if that means I'm doing well or that I'm still invisible. He almost smiled. Sit. We need to go over the week. She sat, opened her notebook, and tried to ignore how good he looked like that. He listed meetings, Investors, partners, a lunch with a judge, a warehouse visit, a charity gala. "Do I go to all of these with you?" she asked. "No, just the charity event and some dinners," he said. "The judge, maybe? The warehouse?" "No." She wrote quickly. He watched her pen move. "You write fast," he said. "I had a boss who spoke twice as fast as you," she replied. "If I didn't write fast, I missed everything and he blamed me." "If I speak too fast, tell me," he said. "You already do," she said, then winced. "Sometimes. A little." His mouth curved again. "You're honest. That can be dangerous here." "I'll try not to use it against myself," she said. His eyes studied her face. "You look different." "How?" "Less ready to bolt," he said. "Last night you looked like you wanted to disappear. Today you look like you belong here." "This is my serious version," she said. "I don't dance in offices." "Pity," he said quietly. The air between them shifted again. She glanced at her notes. "Any rules I should write down?" she asked. "No walk-ins after 6 unless I approve," he said. "No direct calls between noon and 1 unless it's urgent. Nothing on the calendar after midnight. If I'm working after that, it's not something we schedule." There was weight in those words that had nothing to do with spreadsheets. "Got it," she said. He glanced at her notebook. "You got all that?" "Every word," she said. "Good. Victoria will bring you the confidentiality contracts. Read them." She stood. "Okay." As she reached the door, he said her name. "Lena." She turned. His eyes were steady on her. "Last night stays outside this office," he said. "But I haven't forgotten it." Her fingers tightened around her notebook. "I know." He looked down at his papers. "You can go." She stepped out and closed the door. Her heart stayed unsteady for a long time. By late afternoon, her eyes were burning from reading emails. She had already sent a file to the wrong Ethan once and fixed it with Victoria's help. "You're still here," Victoria said. "You haven't cried in the bathroom yet. That's promising." "Is that your standard?" Lena asked. "Here?" "Yes," Victoria said. The internal line blinked again. "Alex Conti's office, this is Lena." "Do you have lunch?" Alex asked. She checked the time. 3:30. Her muffin was still in her bag. "Not really," she admitted. "I forgot." "Come in," he said. "Bring nothing." She frowned but obeyed. He was sitting on the edge of his desk with 2 takeout bags. He held one up. "I ordered too much." "Sit." Her stomach growled loud enough for him to hear. His lips twitched. He handed her a container and a bottle of water. The food was warm and good, and she realized only then how hungry she was. "Is this normal?" she asked after a few minutes. "Eating with your boss on the first day?" "No," he said. "You're a surprise." "Good surprise or bad?" she asked. "I'm still deciding," he said honestly. She smiled despite herself. "Why were you out last night?" he asked. "You don't look like a regular at that club." "I'm not," she said. "My friend dragged me out. She thinks I work too much and freak out too much. She wanted me to forget life for one night." "And did you?" he asked. "For a while," she said. "Then you kissed me, disappeared, and showed up again as my boss. So it got complicated." He laughed, more openly this time. She liked that sound. "I didn't plan to stay either," he said. "It was a meeting. I was going to leave. Then I saw you, black dress, drink in your hand, face that said you were trying not to think too hard." "You noticed that?" she asked. "I notice everything," he said. "It's necessary in my line of work." There it was again, that hint that his world was more than offices and events. "And now you notice everything I do here?" she asked. "Yes," he said. "You sit between me and everyone else. I need to know you can handle it." She swallowed. "I will." They finished eating. He threw away the containers and checked his watch. "You can leave at 5 today," he said. "Tomorrow you stay until I leave unless I say otherwise. If I know I'll be here late, I'll send you home." "What does late mean for you?" she asked. "Sometimes after midnight," he said. Do you sleep here? Sometimes. Don't worry, you don't. Most days you'll finish by 7 or 8. Is that a problem? No, she said. I can handle it. Good. She stood. I'll go back to work. As she reached the door, he said quietly, "Thank you for not running yesterday." She looked back at him. "Thank you for not firing me when my whole life rolled across your floor." He smiled. "Go work, Parker." At 5, as ordered, she shut down her computer and grabbed her bag. The floor was quieter now. The city outside looked softer, colored by late afternoon light. She walked toward the elevator, then hesitated, glancing at his closed door. The light under it was still on. The elevator dinged. She pressed the button. Leaving, she turned. Alex was a few steps away, tie loosened, hair slightly messy, sleeves still up. "Victoria said I could go," she said. "You did too." "I did," he replied. "I'm not stopping you." He stepped closer. The hallway suddenly felt smaller. "How was your first day?" "Really?" he asked. "Tiring," she said honestly. "A lot to learn." "But good. I didn't cry in the bathroom. I'm proud of that." "Good," he said. "Bathrooms here are terrible places to cry. Too much echo." She laughed. He studied her face. "You did well. You kept up. You didn't freeze. That's more than I can say about others." Warmth spread in her chest. "Thank you." His eyes dropped to her mouth. She felt it. The distance between them shrank without either of them really moving. His scent wrapped around her. Her hand tightened on the strap of her bag. "One more thing," he said quietly. "About the rules." "What rules?" she asked, voice softer. "The ones from this morning," he said. "About keeping things separate." Her heart hammered. "Yes." He lifted a hand, fingers brushing a strand of hair away from her cheek. His thumb traced a small line along her jaw. The touch was light but clear. "For some reason," he said, gaze locked on hers, "it's hard to remember those rules when you're this close." Her breath caught. "Alex." He leaned in just enough for her to feel his breath against her lips. The hallway faded. All she felt was tension and expectation. The elevator dinged. They both froze. The doors opened. A man from accounting stepped out with a stack of folders. He stopped when he saw them. "Mr. Conti," he said quickly. "Sorry." "You're fine," Alex replied, hand dropping back to his side. His face turned neutral again. "Good night, Daniel." "Good night, sir," the man muttered, walking away. Lena's face burned. Her pulse kept racing. Alex looked at her again, his expression under control, but his eyes darker. "You should go home," he said. "Tomorrow will be busy." She stepped into the elevator. "Good night, Alex." He held her gaze until the doors started to close. "Good night, Lena," he said. The doors shut. As the elevator went down, Lena leaned back against the wall, her fingers pressed to her cheek where his hand had been, one question looping in her mind. What would have happened if they had been alone for 10 more seconds? The next morning, Lena woke up with the clear feeling that her life had changed direction. 2 days ago, she had been sending resumes and fighting with her banking app. Now she was working as an assistant for a Mafia boss who was also a CEO and who had almost kissed her in an office hallway. She grabbed her phone. 3 messages from Rachel. Rachel: "So, how's Mr. Tall Dark emotionally confusing?" Rachel: "Did he call? Did he text? Did he try to kiss you at work?" Rachel: "Blink twice if you're in over your head." Lena smiled. Lena: "He hired me. I'm his assistant now. No kissing. Just almost. Long story." Before she could drop the phone, another message appeared. Unknown number. Alex. 7:30 a.m. Sharp. Big day. Don't be late. So he had saved her number. Lena: "I'll be there. Good morning, by the way." A short pause. Alex: "Good morning, Lena." Seeing her name on the screen woke her up more than any coffee. By 7:15, she was in the lobby with her badge on her blazer and her hair pulled back in a low ponytail. The elevator took her to the top floor. She walked out into the familiar quiet. She turned the corner toward her desk and stopped. There was a coffee on it, not the bitter lobby coffee, the good one from the expensive place across the street. Her name was written on the cup in slightly crooked letters, Lena. She glanced around. Alex's office door was closed. Her phone buzzed. "Alex, you sounded tired yesterday. Don't get used to this. I'm not your barista." A smile appeared on her face before she could stop it. "Lena, I thought it just floated here by itself. Thank you." No reply came. She didn't need one. The coffee was the answer. She took a sip, felt the warmth spread through her chest, and opened his calendar. The day was full. Back-to-back meetings until noon, a video call with European partners, an internal strategy session with Ethan and department heads, and at the bottom, highlighted in gold, Conti Security and Holdings, Annual Children's Foundation Gala location, Hotel Astoria Grand Time, 8 p.m. Late. Her stomach tightened. That was the event Victoria had mentioned. Cameras, press, rich people, Alex. The phone rang. "Alex Conti's office. This is Lena." "Good," his voice said. "You're on time." "I told you I would be," she replied. "I need you in here. Bring your laptop." Alex was behind his desk with his sleeves rolled up and his tie already loose. Ethan was sitting in front of him, arms crossed, looking annoyed at the world. "Sit," Alex said. Lena sat and opened her laptop. "We have a strategy meeting at 3 that we can't move," Ethan said, "but the 2 o'clock with Sullivan can be pushed." "No," Alex said. "I want Sullivan before lunch. He talks too much, and I don't want him hanging around when the office is busier." "Then we move the internal review," Ethan offered. Lena hovered over the calendar, waiting. Alex looked at her. "Thoughts?" "Mine?" she asked. "Yes, yours. You're the one who has to live with this schedule." She straightened a little. "Keep Sullivan at 11, she said. "He's a talker, so it's better when people still have energy. Move the internal review to late afternoon. It's mostly you, Ethan, and senior staff. You don't need as much social energy for that." Ethan raised his eyebrows. Alex's eyes warmed. "Do it." She moved the blocks on the screen, feeling slightly more confident. "And the gala," Alex added. "Set a reminder for 6:30. I don't want anyone booking anything too close. I need time to change." "Done." "Do you want me to arrange a car?" "I'll take the black sedan tonight," he said. "You're coming with me." Her fingers froze. "I am?" "Yes. You'll handle the guest list, keep the right people close, keep the wrong ones from trapping me, and note who I owe favors to by the end of the night." "That sounds fun," she said. "It won't be," Ethan muttered. "Wear comfortable shoes, and something fancy enough to distract the donors." Lena almost choked. "Excuse me?" Alex shot Ethan a look but didn't really sound angry. "What he means," Alex said, "is that these people like pretty things. Cars, venues, jewelry, photos. It helps if my assistant doesn't look like she just escaped an accounting conference." "Got it. Less spreadsheets, more sparkle," she said. "You learn fast, Parker," Ethan said. Alex checked his watch. "Send the updated schedule to Victoria and confirm Sullivan." "Yes," Lena said, closing the laptop. The day passed fast. Calls, emails, people asking for Alex, people trying to move things on the calendar. Sullivan confirmed. A judge's assistant called twice. A tech CEO pushed for just 5 minutes that became 30. By mid-afternoon, Lena's notes were full of arrows and comments like, "Do not let this guy near open bar at gala." Around 4, Victoria appeared at her desk. "You're still here." "Good," Victoria said. "Some people disappear around now, then they cry on day 3. "I prefer not to cry at all," Lena replied. "Excellent goal. Do you have a dress for tonight?" "I have a dress." Victoria narrowed her eyes. "Black elegant or black family graduation?" "Somewhere in between?" Lena tried. Victoria sighed. "You know the Astoria Grand doesn't understand in between, but we don't have time for a miracle. Bring the dress. We'll cheat with hair and makeup." "You don't have to." "I know," Victoria cut in. "But if you look good, the company looks good. I'm doing this for me." Lena smiled. "Thank you. Be back by 7. Less chance of you spilling coffee on yourself at home. Lena looked at her cup. I feel attacked. Good. It means you're listening, Victoria said, walking away. Her apartment turned into a controlled disaster. Mia sat on the bed with a slice of pizza, watching the chaos. That one, Mia said, pointing at the black dress on the chair. The fitted one with long sleeves and a V-neck, not too short. You look like your life is in order. Is it too much? Lena asked. It's enough, Mia replied. With your hair up and earrings, you're perfect. Lena put on the dress. It hugged her curves in the right way. The neckline showed a little, without feeling desperate. A small part of her hoped that when Alex saw her, he would lose his breath for a second. Okay, she said. This is the one. You look amazing, Mia said, fixing a strand near Lena's face. Remember, rich people are just regular people in good lighting. That is not comforting, Lena muttered. Mia squeezed her shoulders. Text me if anyone is rude. I will send over-the-top supportive messages. That actually helps, Lena said. She grabbed her clutch, stepped into black heels, and went back out into the city. By 7, she was back at the office, slightly breathless from the subway stairs. The floor looked different at night, quieter. The city lights outside colored the glass walls. Victoria was already there, flawless in a dark blue dress. Not bad, Victoria said, looking Lena up and down. Good base, come with me. She pulled Lena into a small conference room that now looked like a backstage area. There was a curling iron, a makeup bag, and a mirror on the table. You brought your entire bathroom, Lena said. I told you, Victoria replied. I take the company image very seriously. Tilt your head. 30 minutes later, Lena almost didn't recognize herself. Her hair was up in a soft twist with a few loose strands. Her makeup was simple but sharp. Defined eyes, smooth skin, soft rose on her lips. Wow, she whispered. Exactly, Victoria said. You look like you belong at any table in that ballroom. Remember that? Thank you, Lena said and meant it. Don't thank me yet. You still have to survive the event. At 7:50, the elevator opened again. Alex walked out. For a moment, Lena forgot every word she knew. The black suit fit him perfectly. The white shirt was crisp. Dark tie, polished shoes, hair combed back, trimmed beard. He looked controlled, powerful, untouchable. His gaze moved over the hallway, then stopped on her. His steps slowed. From behind him, Ethan stepped out in his own suit. You clean up well, Parker. The donors won't complain. Thank you, she managed. Alex didn't speak at first. His jaw was tight, his eyes unreadable. Is the car downstairs? He asked finally, his voice a little rougher. Yes, the driver texted 10 minutes ago. He nodded once. Good, let's go. Ethan took another elevator. I'll meet you there. Alex and Lena walked down the hallway together. In the elevator, when the doors closed, the air changed. You look appropriate, he said. It was such an Alex thing to say that she almost laughed. That sounds a lot like a compliment. It is, he said. After a beat, he added quietly, You look beautiful. Is that better? Heat moved up her neck. Yes, that is better. Outside, the black sedan was waiting. The driver opened the back door. Alex motioned for her to get in first. Inside, the noises of the city faded a little. Remember why we're going, Alex said. Charity, press, photos. People will want to talk to me for too long. You pull me out when needed. If someone talks for more than 5 minutes without stopping, I'll fake an emergency. You don't have to fake it. Just call me and say we have a crisis. I'd rather not start a real crisis just because you want to escape someone who loves hearing himself speak, she said. He looked amused. That describes half the board perfectly. After a moment, his tone changed. There will be photographers, he said. They'll take pictures. Some will end up online. She tensed. Of me? Of us, he answered. I don't know if I want my face all over the internet next to yours, she admitted. My life was very invisible before this. His eyes softened. If anyone says anything about you, it will be because they're jealous. And if anyone says something to you, tell me. I'll make sure they regret it. It sounded simple for him. For her, it sounded heavier. "Is that a boss promise or some other kind of promise?" she asked quietly. "Both," he said. Her heart stuttered. She turned to the window, watching the city lights slide by. But the air between them was different now. The Astoria Grand was bright, tall, and perfectly polished. The car stopped at the red carpet. Flashes started the moment the driver opened the door. Lena stepped out first as they had planned. Cameras flickered in her direction, then flashed harder when Alex joined her. "Mr. Conti, this way!" "Alex, one photo. Is that your new assistant?" Alex's hand rested on the small of her back, steady. "Keep walking," he said near her ear. "Smile if you want, or don't. They'll take the photo anyway." She gave a small, calm smile and walked inside. The lobby was full of soft music, waiters with trays, and tall white flower arrangements. A woman in a silver dress approached with a clipboard. "Mr. Conti, welcome. We're so grateful for your support," she said. "Thank you," he replied, using his smooth public voice. "This is my assistant, Lena Parker." "Nice to meet you, Ms. Parker," the woman said. "Your table is in the front as usual, near the stage." Of course it was. In the ballroom, chandeliers hung from the ceiling. Round tables, white tablecloths, golden chairs. A stage at the front with a screen showing photos of smiling children. "Game time," Alex murmured. He leaned closer. "If someone talks about tax write-offs for more than 30 seconds, I owe you a drink." "That's a dangerous promise," she said. Someone called his name. "Alex!" A man with a loud tie and louder laugh walked up. "Good to see you," the man said, shaking his hand. "You never miss this. You and your generous checks." "Good evening, Robert," Alex replied. "You know I care about this foundation." Robert's eyes went to Lena. "And who is this lovely woman?" "My assistant," Alex said. "Lena Parker." Robert took her hand and held it a little too long. "Lucky man, having an assistant like that." "Lucky company," Lena said, taking her hand back smoothly. "It means your calls have a better chance of being answered." Robert laughed. "Sharp, I like her." Alex's tone stayed neutral. "She keeps things moving." Robert talked for a few minutes about golf and vacations. When he started repeating himself, Lena lightly touched Alex's sleeve. "I'm so sorry to interrupt," she said to Robert, "but they asked Mr. Conti to speak with the event coordinator before the program." Robert straightened, clearly flattered. Of course, we'll talk later." When he walked away, Alex leaned down. "Did anyone ask for me?" "No," she said. "But if we let him start story number 3, we'd be here all night." He gave her a sideways look, very close to a smile. "You're good at this." "I know," she answered, surprising herself. The rest of the evening was a pattern of names, handshakes, polite smiles. Lena stayed one step behind and a little to the side, close enough to listen. She took mental notes and sometimes wrote quick words in her small notebook. Every now and then, her hand brushed Alex's arm when they moved at the same time, and every single time her body reacted. At one point, a group of donors pulled Alex away. A tall woman in a red dress rested her hand on his arm and laughed at everything he said. Lena stood a few steps away, pretending to look at her phone. She hated jealousy. It made people ridiculous. She had promised herself she wouldn't be that person again. And yet, watching the woman in red touch his arm, Lena felt something tight inside her. "This is work," she reminded herself. "He is your boss. You do not get to be jealous." Still, when he finally came back to her, that tightness faded a little. "You okay?" he asked. "I'm fine. Just counting how many times the word networking has been abused tonight," she said. "It loses meaning after the 10th time," he replied. "They passed that 15 minutes ago." He lowered his voice. "You have that look again." "What look?" "The one from the dance floor," he said. "You think too much and try not to show it." "Maybe I am thinking too much," she admitted. He studied her. "Come with me," he said suddenly. "Where?" "Somewhere no one wants a selfie." He led her down a quieter hallway, opened a door at the end, and stepped aside for her to enter. It was a small lounge, soft chairs, low tables, a bar, dimmer lights, and no people. The sound of the ballroom was faint now. "I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed in the VIP area," she joked. "You're with me," he said. "You're allowed anywhere I am." That simple line hit her harder than it should. He poured water into 2 glasses and handed her one. "You looked like you needed a break," he said. "Was it that obvious?" "Only to someone who knows what you look like when you're pretending." She swallowed. "What did you see?" "I saw you watching the woman in red touch my arm and asking yourself why you're here," he said. Her face warmed. "I wasn't. Don't lie to me, Lena. I notice things." She put the glass down, fingers firm on the rim. "Fine," she said. "Maybe it bothered me a little." "A little," he repeated. "A lot," she admitted. "Happy now?" "No," he said. "But I like the truth." She took a slow breath. "I know what this is. You're my boss. We kissed once. Almost kissed again. That doesn't give me the right to feel anything about who touches you at a gala." He stepped closer. "Do you really think I brought you here just because you're good at talking to donors?" he asked. "Why did you bring me then?" she asked, heart beating fast. "You're the only person in this room I actually want near me," he said. "When I saw you at the top of the stairs tonight, it was the first moment all day that felt lighter. And I wanted to see you in a place like this, standing at my side, not just behind me." Her heart raced. "That's dangerous," she whispered. "Most of my life is dangerous," he said. "This is the part I don't want to avoid." His fingers moved a strand of hair behind her ear, then slid to the side of her neck. He stepped close enough that there was almost no space between them. "Tell me to stop," he said quietly. "If you don't want this, if you really want to keep this just as boss and assistant." Her mind jumped through every moment since the club. The kiss on the dance floor, the shock of finding him in that interview room, the almost kiss in the hallway. Every time his body had been too close. She could lie. She could protect herself. She lifted her chin. "I don't want you to stop," she said. "That's the problem." Something shifted in his eyes. He closed the remaining distance. The kiss was nothing like the one at the club. There was no crowd, no loud music, no flashing lights. Just their breathing and the faint sound of the gala outside. His mouth moved on hers with slow, controlled hunger, as if he had been holding back for too long. His hand slid to the small of her back and pulled her closer. Her fingers grabbed his lapels and then his shoulders. She opened to him without hesitation. Heat ran through her body, every point of contact alive, his hand on her waist, his thumb on her jaw, his chest against her breasts. When he finally pulled away, both of them were breathing hard. "This is a very unprofessional pattern we're starting," she said, her voice unsteady. "I told you I don't like rules," he replied, resting his forehead lightly against hers. "You're the one who made the no mixing business rule. I plan to break it carefully," he said. A gentle knock came at the door. "Mr. Conti," a voice called. "They're about to start the speeches. They want you in the front row." Alex closed his eyes for a second. "I'll be there in a minute," he said. He looked at Lena again, his thumb brushing one last slow line along her jaw before he stepped back. "Are we going to pretend this didn't happen?" she asked, afraid of his answer. "No," he said firmly. "We're not." Her heart skipped. "But we're also not telling the whole ballroom about it," he added. "Not tonight." "I can live with that," she said. He straightened his tie, offered her his hand. "Come on, Miss Parker," he said, his public tone back, though his eyes were still soft. "Let's go convince a room full of powerful people that I'm respectable." She took his hand and let him lead her toward the door. "And after that?" she asked quietly. He opened the door. The noise of the gala flooded back in. "After that," he said, low, just for her, "we'll talk about how many lines we're willing to cross, together." He walked back into the lights, the crowd, the cameras. Lena followed, heart racing, lips still tingling. One thought louder than the orchestra. How far was she willing to go, now that the man she worked for, the man everyone feared and respected, had just kissed her like she was the only risk he wanted to take. The applause faded behind them as Alex and Lena left the ballroom and followed the soft-lit hallway back toward the elevators. His hand rested on her lower back as he guided her through the crowd. Light, protective, and far too familiar for two people who were supposed to be keeping things professional. Lena's lips still tingled from the kiss they had shared minutes before. A kiss she had absolutely not been prepared for. A kiss she had absolutely wanted. A kiss she absolutely could not stop thinking about. When the elevator doors slid open, they stepped inside, and the moment the doors closed, the world felt small again. Quiet. Suspended. Neither of them spoke at first. Alex loosened his tie slightly, his chest rising with a slow breath. The soft elevator light warmed his face, making him look less like the untouchable man the world feared, and more like the man she had met on a crowded dance floor. Lena swallowed. So, we're just not talking about what happened. He looked at her then, really looked, and something inside her tightened. I've been thinking about nothing else, he admitted. Her heart stuttered. Good, she whispered before she could stop herself. Because, me too. He stepped closer, not touching, but close enough that her breath caught. I don't know how to do this, he said quietly, his tone more vulnerable than she had ever heard. I've spent years building walls so no one can get close enough to become a weakness. Lena exhaled, softer now. I'm not trying to be a weakness. You already are, he answered, his voice dropping. That's what scares me. The elevator dinged before she could reply, and they stepped out onto the dim parking level. Alex's driver waited a few steps away, the black sedan ready. Alex opened the door for her himself. Not the driver. Alex. And somehow that made her chest feel too full. She slid inside, smoothing her dress. The air in the back seat was cool, quiet, intimate in a way that hummed under her skin. Alex got in beside her, the door shutting with a soft thump. The driver asked nothing, said nothing, just began to pull away. They sat side by side, their shoulders barely touching, but every movement, every breath felt charged. You still haven't answered my question, Lena said softly. Alex turned to her, brows lifting slightly. Which one? What happens now? A small, humorless smile touched his mouth. If I knew how to answer that, I wouldn't be me. She looked down at her hands resting on her lap. I don't want to ruin my job. You won't, he said immediately. You're my boss, she reminded him. And you're the only person who's made my life feel less like a battlefield in years, he answered quietly. I'm not letting go of that because of a title. Lena's throat tightened. He meant it. He wasn't saying pretty things to charm her. It was real, honest, vulnerable. And somehow, that scared her more than anything. She leaned back against the seat, trying to steady her heartbeat. So you want to, what, date in secret? Pretend nothing's happening until the office closes at 5? He looked at her, the corner of his mouth lifting slightly. You think I can pretend nothing's happening? Her cheeks warmed. I can't either. His gaze dipped to her lips, slow, deliberate, and she felt her stomach flip. But, he said, the word sharper now, I need you to understand something. Her eyes lifted. When you get close to me, he said softly, even in the smallest ways, it changes the rules. My rules, my priorities, my reactions. What does that mean? She asked. He didn't look away. It means if something touches you, it touches me, he said simply. If something hurts you, it becomes my problem. If someone gets too close to you, his jaw tightened just slightly. I don't stay calm. A warm shiver ran through her. Not fear, but something else entirely. And then it hit her. He wasn't warning her about danger. He was warning her about his heart. The car slowed as they neared her building. Lena's pulse quickened when she realized they were almost at her stop. I can walk from here, she said gently. You don't have to escort me up. Yes, I do, he replied, no hesitation. It's a safe neighborhood. I don't care. Alex, Lena, he breathed, leaning closer. Please, let me make sure you get inside. The word please in his voice undid her. The car stopped. The driver stepped out, opening her door with a nod. Alex followed, hand at the small of her back again, as they walked toward the entrance of her apartment building. The night was cool, the streetlights soft. It should have felt normal, but nothing about this moment felt normal. At the entrance door, she turned to face him. Thank you for everything tonight, she said. You made it bearable, he answered. You made it better. Her breath hitched as his hand brushed her waist. Light, hesitant, like he wasn't sure if he should. I keep thinking I should step back, he murmured. And do you want to? His eyes darkened. No. Her heart thudded. He leaned in, not kissing her yet, just close enough that she felt the warmth of him. I shouldn't want you this much. It makes everything complicated. She smiled softly. I'm good at complicated. A low laugh escaped him. I'm starting to see that. She placed her hand lightly against his chest, feeling the steady thump of his heartbeat under her palm. Alex, she whispered. He lowered his head just slightly. Yes? What if this is the one thing in your life that doesn't have to feel like a battlefield? His breath caught. For a moment, he just stared at her, eyes soft, guarded, hopeful, terrified, all at once. Then he lifted her chin gently with his fingers. Good night, Lena, he said, his voice rough with restraint. If I kiss you again right now, I won't stop. Her legs nearly gave out. She nodded slowly. Good night, Alex. He forced himself to step back. She felt the effort in the air between them and returned to the waiting car. She watched as the black sedan disappeared around the corner. Only when it was gone did she finally let out the breath she'd been holding. The next morning, Lena arrived earlier than usual, hoping the office would be empty enough to help her brain settle down. It wasn't. Ethan was already there, leaning against her desk with a cup of coffee, arms crossed. He looked at her for 2 long seconds. What? She asked. You, Ethan said, sipping calmly. Have a problem. Her stomach dropped. What kind of problem? The kind that starts with a capital A, he answered, and ends with a capital C. Heat rushed to her face. I don't know what you're talking about. He snorted. Please, I've known Alex for 12 years. I've seen him angry, bored, silent, violent, patient, impossible, cold, controlled. But I have never seen him look at someone the way he looked at you last night. Not once. Lena froze. Ethan lifted a hand. I don't care about his personal life, he said. But I care about his judgment. And people who get close to Alex tend to become leverage. She flinched. I'm not leverage. I didn't say you were, he replied. I'm telling you to be careful, because he won't be. Her breath caught. What does that mean? It means if something happens to you, Ethan said bluntly, Alex won't think. He'll react, and he reacts big. Lena swallowed hard. And trust me, Ethan added, straightening. He is already way more invested than he should be. Before she could respond, the elevator dinged. Alex stepped out. He wore a dark suit, no tie, shirt slightly open at the collar. His hair was a little messy, like he'd run his hand through it a dozen times on the way there. His eyes found Lena immediately. Something softened, something tightened, and Ethan muttered under his breath, Yeah, exactly like that. Alex cleared his throat lightly. Good morning. Morning, Lena said, hoping her voice didn't betray the way her pulse jumped. Ethan gave Alex a long, slow look. Try not to do anything stupid. Alex raised a brow. I usually reserve that advice for you. Yeah, well, Ethan said, finishing his coffee. Someone has to say it. He walked away, disappearing into the hallway. Alex watched him leave, then turned back to her. Ignore him. Can I? She asked softly. No, Alex admitted. But still try. He gestured toward his office. Come in. We have things to organize. She grabbed her notebook and followed him. Inside his office, he closed the door behind them, softly, deliberately. and the air instantly felt different. He walked around his desk, but his eyes stayed on her. "So," he said quietly, "where were we before the world interrupted us last night?" Lena's breath hitched. She remembered the kiss, the way he touched her chin, the way he said, "You're dangerous to me in all the wrong ways." "I think," she whispered, "we were trying to figure out what this is." His gaze darkened in a way that made her knees feel unsteady. "Yes," he said, "and I think it's time I tell you something." Her heart pounded. "What?" she asked. He leaned forward slightly, resting his hands on the desk. "I don't want distance," he said simply. "I don't want to pretend. I don't want to keep acting like what I feel when I look at you is something I can switch off." Her chest tightened. "I want more," he said, voice low. "With you." The words washed over her, warm and terrifying and perfect. "Alex," she began. "But," he said suddenly, lifting a hand, "I need you to know something before we go any further." She waited. His eyes held hers with complete sincerity. "I will make mistakes," he said. "Not because I don't care, but because caring about someone the way I already care about you is new to me, and I don't know how to do it right." Her lips parted. Slowly, she walked around the desk until she stood right in front of him. He didn't move. She reached up and touched his jaw, not boldly, but gently, like she was learning the shape of him. "You don't have to know how to do everything right," she said softly. "Just don't push me away when things get confusing." His breath caught. "And don't run," she added, her voice barely above a whisper. "Because I won't." Alex didn't speak. He didn't have to. He reached for her waist, pulling her into him in a slow, careful movement, as if he was asking permission with every inch. She didn't pull away. His forehead rested against hers. And then, in a voice that sent a warm rush through her entire body, he whispered, "Stay close to me, Lena. Even when I look like I don't want you to, that's when I need you the most." Her heart melted. Before she could answer, there was a knock on the door. "Boss?" Ethan called from outside. "We have a situation." Alex let out the softest laugh of frustration, his forehead still against hers. "Of course," he murmured. He stepped back slowly, gently, like letting go cost him something. "This conversation isn't over," he said. "It better not be," she replied with a soft smile. He exhaled, eyes warm and dark. Then he walked to the door, opening it just enough to speak to Ethan. Lena watched him, pulse still racing, heart full of questions and hope and everything in between. Whatever situation awaited him outside that office, she knew one thing for certain. Alex Conti didn't want distance anymore, and neither did she. The situation took Alex away for the rest of the morning. Lena watched the door close behind him with her heart still racing, his words echoing in her head. "I want more with you. Stay close to me, even when I look like I don't want you to." She sat at her desk, staring at her computer screen, cursor blinking in an empty email while her mind replayed every second of their conversation. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Her phone buzzed. "Alex, I'll be in the conference room with Ethan. If anyone asks, I'm in a meeting. If you need me, text. Don't come in." She frowned. "Lena, everything okay?" Dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "Alex, just work. I'll explain later." She stared at that last line for a long moment. Later with Alex could mean tonight, or next week, or never. She forced herself to focus on tasks she could control, emails, calendar adjustments, a rescheduled lunch, a contract Victoria needed scanned and sent. But every time she glanced at his closed door or the dark rectangle of the conference room down the hallway, she felt a little more like someone had quietly dimmed the lights inside her. By noon, he still hadn't come back. At 12:30, she sent a message. "Lena, you didn't eat yet. Should I order something?" No answer. At 1:15, she tried again. "Lena, Ethan told me you have a call at 2 p.m. Should I move it?" This time, the response came quickly. "Alex, no, leave it, and stop worrying about my meals. That's not in your job description." The text felt sharper than his usual tone with her. Not cruel, just distant. She read it 3 times. Then she inhaled, typed, "Lena. Copy. I'll keep the call." Her finger hovered over the keyboard. She added, after a second, "Lena. And for the record, I'm very good at worrying. It should be in my job description." A beat passed. "Alex, you're already doing more than enough." If she didn't know him, she might have taken that as a compliment. Now it sounded like a wall. He didn't come back to his office until almost 4. When he finally walked down the hallway, his jaw was tight, his tie gone, the top buttons of his shirt undone like he'd spent the last hours pulling at his collar. She stood automatically. "Do you need anything?" "Just my files," he said without meeting her eyes. "I'll be working from home for the rest of the day." Her stomach dipped. "Is something wrong?" "No," he answered too fast. "Everything is fine." "Alex, you have my schedule," he cut in, his voice smooth but firm. "If something urgent comes up, Ethan will handle it. Go home at 6. Don't stay late." He grabbed a stack of folders from his desk, slid his laptop into his bag, and moved toward the door again. She watched him, chest tightening. "You're doing it," she said quietly. He stopped with his hand on the handle. "Doing what?" "Pushing me away," she said. "You told me not to panic if you looked like you didn't want me close, but you didn't tell me what to do when you start acting like this." He closed his eyes briefly. "This isn't about you," he said, his voice lower, rougher. "There are things moving. I don't want you in the middle of them." "I'm already in the middle," she replied. "You put my desk there yourself." That almost got a smile out of him. Almost. "Go home, Lena," he said softly. "Please." The please broke her a little. "Okay," she said, "if that's what you want." He turned, finally meeting her eyes. Something raw flickered in his gaze. "It's not what I want," he said. "It's what I think is safest for you right now." Before she could respond, he opened the door and walked away. This time, he didn't look back. That night, Lena sat on her couch with an untouched bowl of pasta in front of her and her phone in her hand. Rachel's name popped up on screen. "Rachel. Video call. Now." "I'm in pajamas and emotionally prepared." Lena accepted. Rachel's face appeared, hair in a messy bun, pajamas with tiny pizza slices printed on them. "You look like someone who just watched their favorite show get canceled mid-season," Rachel announced. "What happened?" Lena pulled her knees up under her chin. "He kissed me," Rachel screamed. "Again," Lena added. Rachel screamed louder. "And then he got distant," Lena finished, deflating. Rachel stopped screaming. "Tell me everything, from the beginning, and don't skip the parts where you almost pass out." Lena told her about the gala, the way he'd watched her, the way he'd taken her to that quiet room, the way he had kissed her like she was the only person that mattered. Then she described the next morning, the situation, the texts, the distance in his voice. Rachel listened without interrupting, eyes focused, face moving through about 10 different expressions. When Lena finished, there was a long silence. "Well," Rachel said finally, "congratulations. You have officially entered the feelings for complicated man stage." "This is not helpful," Lena muttered. "Okay, serious question," Rachel said, leaning closer to the camera. "Do you want him because he's intense and hot and kisses like he's allergic to air? Or do you actually like who he is when he's not being CEO of Danger Inc.? Lena thought about that. She thought about his laugh when she teased him, the way he always pulled out her chair without thinking, the way he'd ordered extra food so she wouldn't go hungry, the way he'd remembered how she looked on the dance floor and how she looked at her desk. "I like all of it," she admitted. "The danger and the messy human underneath." Rachel sighed. "Then you have a problem, yes, but not the worst kind." "What's the worst kind?" Lena asked. "Wanting someone who doesn't care," Rachel said. "And that is clearly not your case." Lena chewed on her bottom lip. "He said I'm a weakness, like that's something terrible. For a man like him, it probably is terrifying," Rachel said gently. "He's built an entire life on never letting anyone get close enough to be used against him. And now you show up and he can't flip that switch off." So he pushes me away to protect me, Lena said. Or to protect himself, Rachel countered. Maybe both. Lena let her head fall back against the couch. What do I do? She whispered. Rachel watched her for a second. You live your life, she said. You don't pause everything waiting for him to figure out how to be emotionally available. You keep your heart open but not empty. And you don't let him be the only source of excitement you have. That sounds very wise, Lena said flatly. It's from a podcast, Rachel admitted, but I stand by it. Her phone vibrated again. Another message popped up, this time from a different contact. Chris. Hey, it's Chris from your old office. A few of us are grabbing drinks tomorrow night. You should come. It's been forever. Rachel saw the notification flash on the screen. Who's that? An old co-worker, Lena said. We used to go out for drinks after work sometimes. He's nice. Rachel's lips curved slowly. Is he single and cute? Maybe. Lena hedged. So yes, Rachel said. Go. It's just drinks, Lena protested. Exactly, Rachel replied. Just drinks. Just friends. Just you remembering you're allowed to have fun outside of Alex's gravity field. Lena hesitated. She could already hear the argument inside her. What if Alex texts? What if he calls? What if he decides he wants to talk? What if he needs her? He can still text you while you're holding a glass of wine, Rachel said, as if reading her mind. And if he freaks out because you went out with friends, that's his problem to work through. Lena looked down at the message from Chris. Chris, we're going to that place near Bryant Park, 8 p.m. It'd be good to see you. She typed, Lena, I'll be there. The next day at work, Alex was polite, not cold, not rude, just careful. Good morning, he said when he arrived, stopping by her desk. Morning, she replied, trying to keep her voice light. You have my schedule? He asked. Yes, she said. I already confirmed your lunch and moved the 3 o'clock call to tomorrow. Sullivan's assistant called and... Good, he cut in. Thank you. He held her gaze for a second, as if waiting for something more. Then he nodded once and went into his office. The rest of the day continued like that. He called her in to discuss a contract. Their fingers brushed when she handed him a file and both pretended not to notice. He asked for coffee, and when she brought it, his thank you came out a little softer than it needed to. At one point, she glanced through the glass wall and caught him staring at her, one hand on his chin, eyes heavy with something she couldn't quite name. The moment their gazes met, he looked back down at his papers. They were close, but the distance between them felt like an invisible fence. By the time it was 6:30, Lena's brain was fried. She grabbed her bag and stood. I'm heading out, she called gently into his office. Alex looked up from his laptop. Already? Already? She repeated. It's almost 7. He checked the time, frowned like the clock had betrayed him. Right. I'll be in at the usual time tomorrow, she said. Do you need anything else? His eyes lingered on her face for a long second. Where are you going? He asked. She blinked. Home. Then out for a drink with some old co-workers. His jaw flexed. Where? His tone was easy, casual. His eyes were not. A bar near Bryant Park, she said. It's just a small reunion. I haven't seen them in months. And who's going? He asked. People from my old office, she replied slowly. Why? Name's Lena, he said, voice still calm, but something tightening under it. She tilted her head, amused despite herself. Are you asking me to send you a guest list for my social life? Yes, he said, without irony. She couldn't help it. She laughed. You're unbelievable. Who is he? Alex asked, and there it was, the flash of jealousy, raw and unfiltered. How do you know there's a he? She asked. Because your voice changes when you're talking about a group that includes someone who used to make you smile like that, he replied. Her heart did a strange flip. His name is Chris, she said. He's a friend. We work together, that's all. Alex's jaw ticked once. And you're going to this reunion, he said carefully. Yes, she answered. I am. He hesitated. What time? He asked. 8. He checked his watch again, did some silent calculation. Be careful, he said finally, his tone quieter now. Text me when you get home. She raised a brow. That sounds very, not just a boss of you. He held her gaze. I'm not just your boss, he said, and you know that. Her chest tightened. I'll text you, she said softly. She turned and walked away before she could change her mind. The bar near Bryant Park was warm and crowded, full of after-work groups in suits and dresses, laughing too loudly and talking over the music. Lena spotted Chris immediately. He stood near the back, taller than she remembered. Dark blonde hair a little longer, suit jacket unbuttoned. When he saw her, his face lit up. Lena, he called, opening his arms. She hugged him, laughing when he exaggerated a dramatic spin. You look exactly the same, she said. Maybe with a little more, I survived corporate life in your eyes. Battle scars, he agreed. You look better than ever. She rolled her eyes. You always were smooth. They joined a few others from their old office, 2 women and another guy. They ordered drinks, shared stories about old co-workers, made fun of their former boss's dramatic emails. For a while, Lena forgot about Alex. Forgot the tension in his jaw. Forgot the invisible fence between them. Forgot the way his gaze had followed her to the elevator. She laughed. She clinked glasses. She let herself relax. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced down. Alex, did you get there? She smiled. Lena, yes. All good. No corporate emergencies. A minute later, Alex, has anyone annoyed you yet? She bit back a grin. Lena, depends. Does listening to Chris brag about winning trivia night count? Chris leaned closer, trying to read the screen. Boyfriend? He asked lightly. Boss, she said, noticing how strange it felt to use only that word. Strict? Chris asked, teasing. She thought of Alex's hand on her waist, his lips on hers, his voice saying, I want more with you. Complicated, she said. But not boring. Chris laughed. As long as he treats you right. Her phone buzzed again. Alex, I would like to officially register my objection to any situation in which you are annoyed. Want me to send a rescue car? I have several. She covered her smile with her glass. Lena, stand down, Conti. I can handle trivia, boy. How's your night? Alex, boring. I'm working. And thinking about the fact that you're out with trivia, boy. Her heart flipped. Lena, are you jealous? There was a longer pause this time. Alex, yes. She stared at the screen. Without thinking too hard, she took a quick selfie. Nothing dramatic, just her at the bar, glass in hand, a hint of a smile on her lips, the lights behind her soft and golden. She sent it. Lena, don't be. I'm exactly where I want to be right now, and I'm going home alone. His reply came almost instantly. Alex, you're dangerously good at calming me down and making it worse at the same time. Her cheeks warmed. Chris nudged her shoulder. You look happy. She set the phone down, turning back to him. It's been a weird few weeks. You seem different, he said. More alive, less worried. That's one way to put it, she said. They talked for another hour. Chris told her about a new job opportunity he'd heard of, suggested she send him her resume, just in case she wanted a normal job again. The girls asked about her mysterious CEO, and she deflected with half-truths that kept the Mafia part firmly out of the conversation. By 10, people started leaving. Early meetings, commutes, life. Outside, the night had cooled, the park lights glowing softly. I'll walk you to the subway, Chris offered. That's not necessary, Lena said. It's close. I know, he replied, but I'm still going that way. They walked side by side, talking about nothing important. When they reached the station entrance, he stopped. It really was good to see you, he said. You too, she replied honestly. I missed having someone to complain about spreadsheets with. He smiled. If he ever treats you badly, Chris added, voice softer now. Call me. I'll take you out for the fanciest burger in the city and help you draft a dramatic resignation email. She laughed. Deal. He hesitated for half a second, then leaned in and pressed a quick, friendly kiss to her cheek. It was nothing. Friendly, light, and yet as she descended the subway steps, her phone buzzed again. She didn't even have to look to know who it was. Alex. Home yet? She smiled. Lena. On my way. 2 trains and a short walk. Alex. Text me when you're inside. Lena. Bossy. Alex. Careful. I can be much worse. Her breath caught at the double meaning. Lena. I'll text you. By the time she reached her building, the street was quiet. She unlocked her door, stepped inside, kicked off her shoes and let her bag drop on the chair. Then she texted, Lena, I'm home. The 3 dots appeared almost immediately. Alex. Good. Did you have fun? She thought about the laughter, the stories, the kiss on the cheek, the messages from Alex that had threaded through the night like a second conversation. Lena. Yes. I remembered who I am when I'm not just your assistant. His answer took longer this time. Alex. And who is that? She smiled to herself. Lena. Someone who likes her life better now, even when it's confusing. A long pause. She sat on the edge of her bed, phone in her hand, heart beating a little too fast. Finally. Alex. Come to my place tomorrow night. After work. No office, no interruptions. I'm done keeping you half in and half out of my life. It's time you know exactly who you're getting involved with. Her breath caught. Tomorrow night. No office, no interruptions. No more half-truths. Lena. Are you sure? Alex. I've never been more sure. I'll send you the address. And Lena. Another message popped up immediately after. Alex. Don't cancel. If you're going to walk away from me, do it after you know everything, not before. Her chest squeezed. Lena. I won't cancel. Alex. Good. Get some sleep. Tomorrow. Changes things. She set the phone down, heart pounding. Tomorrow, she would step into Alex Conti's world fully, not just as his assistant, not just as the woman he kissed in dark corners and stolen moments, but as someone he was letting in all the way. For the first time since he'd started pulling back, Lena didn't feel afraid of the distance. She felt something else. Curiosity. Hope. A quiet, unwavering decision. Whatever she found when she crossed that line tomorrow, she wasn't planning on running. Lena woke up the next morning with her heart beating in 2 different rhythms, excitement and fear. Tonight, she would step into Alex's world, not the office, not the side of him that held meetings and wore perfect suits. The real one. He had asked her to come to his place. He had said tomorrow changes things. He had said, I want more. She got ready slowly, choosing a soft blouse, fitted trousers, and tying her hair in a simple ponytail that made her look less like assistant and more like someone who's about to make a very personal decision. When she arrived at the office, Ethan was already standing by the door, arms crossed, coffee in hand, expression unreadable. Morning, she offered. You slept, Ethan observed. That's good. You'll need the energy. She blinked. Energy for what? Ethan's jaw tightened for a fraction of a second. Nothing dramatic, just talking to Alex when he's in this mood requires stamina. What mood? She asked, placing her bag on her desk. The one where he's made a decision about someone, Ethan said, and the decision scares him more than it motivates him. Lena's stomach dipped. He told you something? No, Ethan replied, but he didn't have to. I've seen him push people out. I've seen him pull people close. And I've seen him do both at the same time. That's when he's most unpredictable. Lena swallowed. And which one am I today? Ethan looked at her carefully. Today, you're the person he doesn't want to lose. Before she could respond, Alex's office door opened. He was wearing a charcoal suit with no tie, his shirt buttoned to the collar, jaw freshly shaved, hair carefully styled. He looked like he had spent more time getting ready than usual, but tried not to show it. When his eyes landed on Lena, something warm flickered behind the controlled expression. Good morning, he said, voice softer than usual. Good morning. she replied, forcing her heart to stay steady. "Come in," he said. "We have a lot to go over." Ethan muttered something like, "God help us," then left. Inside his office, the door closed behind them with a quiet thud. Alex didn't sit. He didn't go to his desk. He stood in front of her, hands in his pockets, studying her with an intensity that made her breath catch. "Are you nervous?" he asked gently. "Yes," she said honestly. "Are you?" He exhaled. "More than I should be." That admission alone softened the steel around his voice. "Tonight," he said, "I'll tell you things I've never told anyone outside my inner circle. Things about what I do, how I lead, why people listen to me. Not the scary parts, not the ugly parts, just the truth. Enough for you to understand who I really am." Lena nodded slowly. "That's what I want. Not the facade." His jaw flexed slightly. "I know. And that's what makes this harder." He stepped closer. "I'm used to people fearing me, respecting me, staying in line. I've built an entire life around knowing exactly how others see me." "And how do I see you?" she asked softly. His eyes dropped to her lips before returning to her gaze. "You see the man underneath, the one I don't show anyone else. And I don't know how to protect myself from that." She inhaled shakily. "Maybe you don't have to." He hesitated, vulnerability flickering for one rare second. Then he shook himself slightly and moved to his desk, picking up a stack of documents. "Work first," he said, sliding back into professional mode. "I want today to run smoothly." It was clear. Today he was distracting himself, keeping his mind busy, preparing. Lena opened her notebook. "What do you need?" The morning passed in a whirlwind of calls, signatures, and meetings. But under every exchange, every instruction, every glance through the glass wall, the same tension hovered. A quiet question. "Are you ready for tonight?" Around noon, a message popped up on her phone. "Alex, dinner at my place. Wear whatever makes you comfortable. And Lena, don't be scared of what you'll hear. None of it changes what I want." Her pulse quickened. He wanted her. He kept saying it in different ways, and she felt herself getting closer to him with every passing hour. At 5:30, the office began to empty. Victoria waved goodnight with a knowing look. Ethan left with a stern warning of don't overthink everything, and by 6, only she and Alex remained. At 6:10, he walked out of his office, coat in hand. "Are you ready?" he asked. She nodded. He didn't speak again until they were in the elevator alone, descending to the lobby. The air was thick, charged, almost humming. In the car, he finally exhaled. "If at any point tonight something feels like too much, tell me. I won't be offended." Lena looked at him. "I don't scare easily." He gave a faint smile. "You think that now?" She reached out and touched his hand lightly. "I trust you." The look he gave her then, soft, stunned, grateful, was almost worth everything. She expected luxury. She did not expect warmth. His building was high-end, with marble floors and quiet hallways, but his apartment was surprisingly gentle. Soft lighting, minimal furniture, dark wood floors, a large couch with cozy blankets, books stacked neatly on shelves, a faint scent of cedar. It was Alex, refined, disciplined, but softer than the world ever saw him. Lena stepped inside and slipped off her shoes. "This is beautiful." "It's just a place," he said, setting down his keys. "What matters hasn't been here in a long time." She looked at him. "And what's that?" "Someone I want to come home to." Her heart fluttered. He led her to the kitchen where a table was set. Nothing extravagant, but thoughtful. Pasta, salad, bread, 2 glasses of wine. "You cooked?" she asked, surprised. "Ethan helped," he admitted. "And by helped, I mean he called me an idiot twice and told me not to burn anything." Lena laughed, easing the tension. They ate. They talked. They avoided heavier subjects at first. Favorite movies, what she liked in school, the first time he drove a car, how she handles stress, the foods he refuses to eat. Slowly, the anxiety in her chest melted into something warm and easy. After dinner, he took her hand. "Come with me." He led her to a small sitting room overlooking the city. Lights glittered across the skyline like a sea of stars. He gestured for her to sit. She did. Then he sat across from her, close, but not touching. "This is the part you wanted," he said quietly. "The truth." Lena folded her hands in her lap. "Whatever you tell me stays with me. I'm not afraid of knowing who you really are." He nodded once, appreciating the reassurance. "My family," he began, "built its reputation long before I was born. Security, negotiations, control. Some legal, some not exactly. I took over because there was no one else, and because everyone expects a Conti to lead." "So you're the head," she said softly. "Yes," he admitted. "But I'm not what people imagine. I don't hurt people. I don't make threats. My job is balance. Making decisions that keep everything functioning, keeping the wrong people away, protecting the right ones." She listened, her heartbeat steady. "I built systems so I don't have to get my hands dirty. I built partnerships to avoid chaos. I use power to keep situations calm, not to make them worse." She believed him. "When people hear Mafia, they picture blood and revenge and fear," he continued. "That's not my world. My world is negotiation, influence, structure, a network that keeps itself in order." "And why did you want to tell me all this?" she asked gently. "Because," he said, leaning forward, "being with me requires honesty. You need to know the parts of my life that don't show up in meetings or wearing suits." She nodded. "And why did you want me close? Really close?" His eyes softened. "Because you make me feel like the man underneath the name. Because I'm not just Conti when I'm around you. I'm just Alex." Her breath trembled. "Lena," he said, voice low, "I want you with me. Not as my assistant, not as someone I meet in dark corners or quiet rooms. I want you in my life, in the parts I don't show anyone." She felt her heart open, wide, warm, terrified. "And you need to choose," he added quietly. "Not because I'm dangerous, but because I am intense. Because I protect hard, love hard, care hard. And once I let someone in, I don't let go." Her eyes stung with sudden emotion. "Alex," she whispered, "I've already chosen." He inhaled sharply, as if her words knocked the breath out of him. She stood and stepped closer. He stayed seated, eyes on her, jaw tight with emotion he couldn't hide. She reached for his face, cupping his cheek gently. "I want the man you are when you look at me," she whispered. "The one who remembers my coffee order. The one who loosens his tie when he's stressed. The one who kissed me like he'd waited years for it." His hands lifted, gripping her waist as if he couldn't help himself. "And I'm not afraid of your world," she continued softly. "I'm afraid of losing you before we even begin." He stood in one smooth motion, pulling her into him, not roughly, not impatiently, but with a tenderness that made her entire body melt. "Lena," he breathed against her forehead, "I'm not going anywhere." Her eyes fluttered closed. His hand slid up her back, her fingers threaded through his hair. Their breaths mingled, heavy with emotion and want. He kissed her, not urgently, not hungrily, but deeply, slowly, with every truth he had just shared pouring into the space between them. She felt it, the choice, the promise, the beginning of something real. When they finally pulled apart, foreheads touching, he whispered, "Stay with me tonight. Not because I'm asking you to choose me, but because I'm choosing you." Her heart broke open. "I'm here," she whispered. "I'm choosing you too." His arms tightened around her, and for the first time, the distance between them disappeared completely. Lena woke with the softest warmth surrounding her. Alex's arm draped around her waist, his breath brushing the back of her neck. His chest pressed to her spine like he had held her all night without meaning to let go. For a moment she stayed still, eyes closed, letting herself feel the solid, quiet presence of the man who had trusted her with everything the night before. His world, his truth, his heart. She shifted slightly, and his hand tightened instinctively. "You're awake," he murmured against her hair, voice low and rough from sleep. "Barely," she whispered. He pressed a slow kiss to her shoulder. "Good. Stay a little longer." "I can't," she said softly. "I have to go home and change for work." "Work," he muttered, as if it were a personal enemy. "Right." She rolled gently to face him. His hair was slightly messy, his eyes softer than she had ever seen them, his expression unguarded in the morning light. "I don't regret anything about last night," she told him. He brushed a thumb across her jaw. "I didn't think I could feel this settled with someone." Her heart warmed. "Then don't overthink it." "I'm very good at overthinking," he said dryly. "I've noticed." He leaned in and kissed her again, slow and deep, the kind of kiss that made her forget she had responsibilities and bills and an entire office waiting for her. It took every ounce of discipline to pull away. "I really have to go," she whispered. He sighed. "Fine, but tonight?" "Tonight?" she echoed, curious. He cupped her face with both hands, looking into her eyes with a seriousness that made her chest flutter. "Tonight," he said, "I want you here again. Not as a guest. As someone who's in my life. Permanently." Her breath caught. Alex. But before either of them could say more, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. A message from Victoria. "Morning. Just a reminder. Alex has a meeting with the State Commerce Board at 10 a.m. Busy day. See you soon." "Oh no." Lena groaned. "We're both late." Alex looked at her like time was a negotiable concept. "Let them wait." "Alex." He sighed dramatically. "Fine." They rushed. They laughed. They kissed once more near the door, because she couldn't help herself, and he didn't even try to resist. And then they left the apartment together, stepping into a day that already felt different. Something was wrong. Lena felt it the second she stepped off the elevator. The atmosphere was different, not tense, not dangerous, just off. People whispered, heads turned. And every time someone's gaze reached her, and Alex walking in together, standing just a little closer than usual, they quickly looked away. She glanced at Alex. His jaw tightened, the smallest movement, but she caught it. "What happened?" she whispered. "We'll find out," he murmured. Ethan approached them with a long sip of his coffee, expression unreadable. "Morning," Ethan said. "Or whatever version of morning this is for you two." Lena flushed. Alex ignored the comment entirely. "Why is everyone whispering?" Alex asked. Ethan took another sip. "Because someone posted pictures." "Pictures?" Lena repeated. Ethan held up his phone. Her heart dropped. The photos weren't scandalous or inappropriate. They were from the gala. Alex touching her lower back, guiding her through the crowd, looking at her with a softness he rarely showed anyone. One captured them stepping away from the ballroom together, close, intimate. Another showed them in the quiet hallway, her smiling, his head bent toward her. To the world, they looked like a couple. A very powerful man and his beautiful assistant. Lena's stomach tightened. "Oh God." Ethan lowered the phone. "It's on 3 gossip sites. And growing." Alex's jaw clenched. "I don't care about gossip." But Lena felt a cold rush of panic. "What if this hurts the company?" she asked. "What if people say you're unprofessional? What if they think I—" She stopped herself before the rest spilled out, but Ethan understood anyway. "They will think whatever gets them the most clicks," Ethan said. "This is tame. You two looked like adults having a moment, not a scandal." Alex turned to her. "It doesn't matter. What they say doesn't matter." "It does," she whispered. "At least to me." His expression softened instantly. "Lena." She stepped back slightly, needing space to breathe. "Maybe I should give you some distance today." "No," he said immediately, voice sharp. "That's the last thing I want." But she shook her head. "Not because of us. Because of your image, your role. People look at you and build stories out of nothing. I don't want to be used against you." Ethan rubbed his temples. "I'm going to walk away now before this turns into a dramatic scene." He left, but the tension stayed. Alex stepped closer. "You're not being used against me. I'm choosing you." "I thought I made that clear." "You did," she said softly. "But choosing me publicly, that's complicated, and I don't want your life to get harder." "You are my life getting easier," he replied, voice low and certain. Her breath trembled. "Still, let's be careful today. Just today." He hated it. She saw it in his eyes, but after a moment, he exhaled and nodded. "Fine. Today." She felt something in her chest loosen in relief. "But tonight," he said firmly, "there will be no distance." Her heart fluttered. The morning was quiet. Too quiet. Alex stayed hidden behind meetings. Ethan stayed watchful. Victoria tried to act normal, but kept checking Lena's expression every few minutes. By noon, Lena felt herself unraveling inside. Not because she doubted Alex's feelings, but because she doubted her place in his world. Do I fit here? Can I handle this attention? Can I be the person he brings into every part of his life? By 3, those questions became heavy. By 4, she made a decision that hurt more than she expected. She knocked on Alex's office door. "Come in," he said. He looked up from his laptop and immediately sensed something in her face. "What's wrong?" She shut the door behind her slowly. "I think I need a little time." His jaw tightened. "Time for what?" "To think," she whispered, "about everything." "What is there to think about?" he asked, his voice low. "Your image," she said. "Your world, the noise." "I don't want to be a distraction or a burden." "You're not," he said too quickly. "But the world sees it differently," she replied. He stood. "I don't give a damn about the world." "I do," she whispered. That hurt him. She saw it. His voice dropped to something softer, more vulnerable. "Are you saying you want space from me?" She closed her eyes. "Just a little." He was silent for a long moment. Then he nodded, swallowing hard. "If that's what you need, I won't stop you." Her heart broke. She left his office before tears could fall. Lena went home after work feeling hollow. Her apartment felt too quiet. The night too still. The decision too heavy. She curled up on her couch and realized distance didn't make anything easier. It felt worse. Much worse. And then, looking at the soft city glow outside her window, she finally understood something important. She wasn't afraid of being with Alex. She was afraid of being enough for Alex, of stepping into the life he had offered her, of letting herself believe she deserved it, of trusting that he wouldn't hurt her the way others had. But last night, he had looked at her like she mattered, like he needed her, like choosing her wasn't a burden, it was a relief. Her phone buzzed, her heart jumped, but it wasn't him, it was Rachel. "Rachel, how's the love story going? Did he mess it up, or did you?" Lena typed, "Lena." "I did." "Rachel, then fix it. You're not the type to walk away from something real." Lena stared at the message. Then she grabbed her coat. Alex's building was quiet when she entered. The elevator ride felt endless. She stood in front of his door, heart pounding, hands slightly shaking. She knocked. It opened almost instantly. Alex stood there, no suit jacket, sleeves rolled up, hair slightly mussed like he had run his hands through it too many times. When he saw her, something inside him cracked open. Relief, disbelief, longing. "Lena," he breathed. She stepped in and closed the door behind her. "I made a mistake." He shook his head. "You didn't. If you needed space." "No," she said, stepping closer. "I needed clarity, and I have it now." She placed her hands on his chest, feeling the tension under his shirt. "I'm not scared of the world judging us. I'm scared of losing you, and today, when I thought about stepping back, it felt wrong, completely wrong." His breath caught. "Alex," she whispered, "I want to be with you, not halfway, not with distance. I choose you, even when it's messy, even when it's loud, even when it scares me." His hands finally lifted, gripping her waist, pulling her close like he'd been holding his breath for hours. "And I choose you," he whispered against her forehead. "Every damn day. Every version of you. Even the one that overthinks everything." A laugh slipped out of her. He cupped her face gently. "Don't walk away from me again." "Then don't let me," she whispered. He kissed her. Not like the first kiss on the dance floor. Not like the hungry kiss in the quiet lounge. Not like the careful kiss in his apartment the night before. This kiss was everything. Open, honest, deep. A yes from both of them. When their lips finally parted, he held her close, breathing her in. "You're mine," he murmured softly. "Not as a possession, but as a promise." "And you're mine," she whispered back. He smiled then, one of the rare, real ones. "Stay with me tonight. I was hoping you'd say that." He lifted her into his arms, slow, gentle, with a tenderness that made her heart ache, and carried her toward the softest light in the apartment. No rush, no fear, just two people choosing each other completely. Weeks later, Alex entered the office with Lena at his side, not behind him. People looked, whispered, smiled, and for the first time she didn't feel out of place. Her hand brushed his fingers intertwined with hers without hesitation. Ethan passed by, muttering, "Finally," like he'd been waiting for the inevitable. Victoria smiled wide. "About time we had a real power couple in this building." Alex leaned down and whispered in Lena's ear, "You changed everything the moment you walked into that interview." She smiled back. "You changed everything the moment you turned around." He kissed her, soft, right at the corner of her mouth, and the world around them blurred. They weren't just boss and assistant anymore, not a secret. Not a maybe, not a temporary fire. They were partners. They were in love. They were home. And nothing, not gossip, not his world, not her fears, would pull them apart again. If you enjoy stories like this, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. That's how I'll know you truly liked it. Even if you're watching on your TV, grab a second to join this family of fans who love emotional and heartfelt stories. Your support means everything, and it helps us bring you even more tales like this one.